Hello and welcome back to the C-Suite Cyber Podcast. Mike is just staring at me. He's throwing me off. What do we have today, Mike?
He's getting better and better every time we do this. Yeah, so today we're supposed to be talking about investment scams if we can get a coherent thought out of AJ. Um, this should be fun. There's a lot of them out there. You've seen the Elon Musk personas, deep fakes, just celebrity deep fakes in general, but there's a ton of other ones. So we're going to be talking all about that.
Yeah.
What's been new with you? I guess we'll do a quick catch up.
Well, if you would like to fall for an investment scam, you can go to C-Suite Cyber. No, I was kidding. Yeah, not a whole lot since the last time we talked. I think I went to Colorado in between then. Just hung out, went to my girlfriend's race, mountain bike racing, very different than what I do, but nothing as far as cyber goes. What about you?
I got the sweet new background. What's
Yeah,
up? Been improving the studio. Been dealing with the heat in the Carolinas. Went to DEF CON.
there
Was
you go.
that DEF CON before or after? I don't remember, but DEF CON was a good time. Got to meet a lot of fellow InfoSec peeps, so that was a good time. Cool.
Nice.
Yeah, good time. I guess we can go ahead and do our sponsor uh, section. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah. So this amazing episode was brought to you by Tandem Cyber Solutions, your go-to partner for penetration testing services, where we do things a little bit different. Instead of popping in once a year, we do pop in once a year to do all the hacking, but we hang out and we come back whenever you need us to talk you through any configuration changes. What would an attacker do to this new tool so you can get it right the first time? So, if you are interested in getting some help with your offensive security, with your penetration tests, reach out. You can find us at tandemcybersolutions.com/C-suite cyber, and that will be in the notes. And also to put out there, we have a new vulnerability management service coming out this year. So if you are looking to get a handle on those vulnerabilities and build out an awesome program instead of letting them sit, I think I've seen a lot of companies where they just sit in there. I see the same things year after year. But with
Yeah.
a vulnerability management program, you'll get those reports, those reminders of what's in there, and you can actively see the change, the positive change in your environment as you're remediating these findings, and we're scanning to make sure they are in fact truly fixed. So a great kind of metric for you to keep an eye on for your organization and that security growth. So again, check us out, Tandem Cyber Solutions/C-Suite Cyber. Now we can get back to the show.
Yep. Don't be having Windows 7 in your environment because that will show up on the vuln scans.
Unless you're a hospital or a critical infrastructure place with those things, and you can't do without them. Womp
Yeah.
womp.
I've
But
seen
we're there to help you with
Windows.
that at Tandem too. There's always a
Seen
way. Those things have to exist sometimes, unfortunately.
yeah. It's a fun time when you see XP in a environment.
Oh yeah, I start watering at the mouth. Yeah, that's good.
Watering at the mouth.
Yeah,
Uh,
foaming at the mouth maybe is a better
there you
term.
go.
There you go. All right, so tell us a little bit about the history here. What do we got? Where have investment scams come from? Where are they at?
Well, I will leave you with the big overview that I know you're excited to do, but a little bit of history here. We do have this infographic on my other screen, if you see me looking at it, from the FBI talking about the highest complaints. So if you are under the age of 20 in 2024 again, there were just under 18,000 complaints of scams or losses or basically being defrauded out of your money, equating to $22.5 million. 20 to 29, we have 72,000, basically 72 for, or 71 for, sorry, e- equating to $540 million. So that's a lot of youngsters. That's a lot of money. I'm actually surprised that it
Youngsters.
is so much money. Well, we're old now, so We're getting on up there. We're in the other age bracket, 30 to 39. You're at the top of this age bracket, you old man. But
Thanks.
we have 109,000 reports, $1.4 billion. That's insane. That is a lot of money. I'm actually curious how this stacks up with like ransomware, because I know ransomware was the like third GDP per capita if it were a country, like based off of the amount of money that it occurred. Anyways, 40 to 49, we have 2.2 billion, 50 to 59, 2.5 billion. So not a big upgrade there. Um, and then 60 plus, this one hurts. 60 plus, 147,000 complaints with 4.8 billion in losses. So unfortunately, the elder you are, it does seem like there are more losses, which is very sad to see. They obviously need that money at that time in their life. So seems like something could be done here, Mike. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, you'll see when we start going through the different types of scams why elderly may be more vulnerable to these. I mean, they obviously don't keep up with technology as well as younger generations. But I do want to go back to something you said. Do you happen to remember what the total um, kind of market was for ransomware off the top of your head? So this one's what, 20 something billion dollars? Or not 20 something billion. It's like right around 10 maybe. What's the total market for ransomware?
57 billion in this year.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense. You have to do a lot more of this type of thing to get money than ransomware. Ransomware, you just hit a few
Mm.
big orgs, say, hey, give me some dollars, and that's that. With this, I think the average scam was like 20 grand, something like that, and we'll cover it later. So it takes quite a bit more of those to build up to this, but it's still mind boggling that it's a $1 billion enterprise for, well, maybe not for larger investments if you look at like some of this crypto stuff or some of these um, retirees with like, hundreds of thousands of dollars they can invest.
Yeah. It is interesting though. Like every level, every age bracket here, it increased. And I mean, I wouldn't necessarily think that's true. Like I would think 30 to 39 and 50 to 59 would be really close, but it's almost, well, it is a whole billion difference there. That is surprising to me just because of like the amount of people, and then the average loss per person.
Yeah. And then the 60 plus is like double, almost double the
Yeah.
previous one. Yeah. It makes more sense because these elderly generally have more money because they have retirement and all that. I think, right? I may be blowing smoke here a little bit, but in my mind, you know, the average I would think the average person would have saved up a bunch, but that's not nearly, I guess, necessarily true. I saw something the other day that like 60, 70% of people don't even have like $1,000 in the bank, which is
Yeah.
insane. Yeah.
And one thing to point out here too is this is FBI, right? So this is likely US only, whereas obviously ransomware is a global
Mhm.
issue. And not to say that this doesn't occur globally, but these numbers are probably specific to the US. So
Oh, yeah.
keep that in mind. But
That's a good point. Some of these, and I think one of the cases in here is Australian based. I think I got rid of the Indian one just so we focus more on the US based stuff, but that's completely true. These types of crimes happen all over the world. We're just really focused on the US because, well, that's where we're at. So,
yep.
let's see. There's one more. This is the one you wanted to talk about, so I'll let you talk about this
Okay.
one.
Interesting. Letting me talk about it without having seen it first. So,
Well, you were asking about it while we were
yeah,
preparing. You're like, "Oh, I wonder where it stacks up against all these other." So this is like all like internet crime complaints, by the way. That's what we're looking at. We'll put a link in the notes so you can go look at it for yourself. This is all 2024, obviously, as the year indicates. Go ahead, sir.
yeah. Sorry, I was Googling. I didn't know that we had this document already. But okay, so phishing and spoofing, that makes sense. Not directly tied to money every time. you might have MFA employees to kind of prevent that from escalating to losing money. Extortion, that's been big lately, and that was something that has been targeting teenagers a lot more that I've seen, at least
Mm.
on LinkedIn or like certain media that I do read, and basically with Snapchat or with these other things, like unfortunately, some actors are starting relationships with teenagers or making them think that they're in a relationship, maybe soliciting certain content from those individuals and then extorting them and saying, they'll expose it to the school or their family or church or whatever it might be, just to acquire money from the individual. And unfortunately, that does lead to loss of life sometimes. So that one's a big issue. Then we have personal data breach, identity fraud, etc. Not too uncommon there. And then investment actually ranked fourth. So non-payment, non-delivery. I'm surprised that is so high. I'd be curious what the actual number of uh, assets would be for that, because if you're ordering through a credit card, obviously you can do a chargeback, kind of collect that money back. It goes on the vendor if it is a legitimate um, merchandise process, right?
So is that what that's for, or is that like the text messages I get where, hey, we were unable to deliver this thing. You should reach out, click this link to reschedule your shipping. I was confused in terms of what they were talking about in that.
Um, Both? I don't know. That's a good point.
Okay, we're just
I
making
guess
stuff
they
up
could,
today.
yeah, I guess they could both fall under there. I was thinking non-delivery because of that, like an Amazon scam or something.
Wonder if they have definitions anywhere. I don't think so. Sorry for people with motion sickness. Um, I'll look later, see if we can um, get some definitions for you.
Interesting. This has ransomware near the bottom with only 3,000 complaints.
Yeah, I mean, that
Wait,
makes sense. I mean, because it's not people based mostly, it's mostly organization based, much less of those.
yeah, and also some people may not want to report that.
Yep, exactly.
Cool. Do you have any stories for us?
I got all the stories.
Ooh, do tell.
Let me stop sharing so we can get back to looking cool. There we go. Yeah, so yeah, I'll start with a story a long, long time ago in a galaxy far away. No, so one of the things I wanted to kind of bring up first is talk about like a really notorious case that everyone's very familiar with to kind of get our brains wrapped around what an investment scam is, because some people may not know or understand the breadth of what that term covers. So the big case, so we had a couple. We had Bernie Madoff was one of the big examples, but one of the ones I think even more people would be familiar with is the Wolf of Wall Street, old Jordan Belfort. This was indeed a scam, an investment scam of sorts, and it's probably like one of the OG ones, one of the big OG ones, where there was definitely phishing, there's definitely social engineering of sorts going on, and then obviously accounting fraud and all these other things, which is what he got in trouble for as well. And yeah, I'm looking around over here so that I can read it as well while I'm talking. So yeah, pump and dump was you'll see that a lot with the crypto and meme coins and stuff, where they basically get it going and then they just dump all the stock. So his company Stratton Oakmont would kind of, one of the things they would do. Let me back up first. Who are they? What is it? So um, basically, one of the tactics a lot of people do is kind of try to build up that trust and establish that they are experts, that they are legitimate. And so they did that really well, where they started um, out just basically selling smaller stocks, small cap stocks or penny stocks, I think is the proper word there. And then they somehow got to where they could do what's the word? I'm not a big investor. What's it when they go public with companies? What's the term for that?
IPO.
Yeah, so then they started handling IPOs, which really legitimized them on Wall Street. And then they could basically use that and say, hey, you should really invest in these crappy penny stocks. They're going to make you millions and millions of dollars. And then once they got all these people bought in, they would buy themselves and then they would just sell it out, sell their shares out. Which means they made out like bandits, but everyone else really their stocks just tanked because of the big sell off. And again, you'll see very similar to some of these meme coins and crypto markets that are out there. They do the exact same thing. They release the coin, they have a huge share of it, like 60, 70%. They sell it, make a ton, and everyone loses loses all their money on this scam, like millions of dollars in some cases. Um, but just talk about the total impact here. So they say Stratton Oakmont handled over $1 billion in stock issues. So that's the IPOs we were just talking about. And they said that investors lost approximately $200 million, quite a
Wow.
bit, because this is back in the day, 90s. Oof, back in the day, ouch. Um, and he was indicted for securities fraud, money laundering, and was sentenced to 4 years in prison and had to repay 110 million in for defrauding investors. So not the full 200 million they say they lost, but more than half, which is pretty crazy to me.
So I just looked up on the CPI inflation calculator. 200 million in 1994 to today is 4.3. Or sorry, I did that wrong. It'd be 435 million.
Okay, so about double.
Yeah.
Yeah, so quite a bit. Um, yeah, so quite a bit of money, still a lot of money. And the reason I brought this case up because there's a lot of things that he utilized that are pretty normal to us now that weren't as, I guess, uh, well known back then, like the social engineering. Hey, urgency. Hey, get in on this deal right now, or you're going to miss it. We see that with phishing and social engineering all the time. Um, Cold calls, same thing, using charm, confidence, um, really just social engineering. Go to DEF CON or look up some of the things at DEF CON from the social engineering village. Shout out to DEF CON. Same stuff, really the same stuff criminals are using today. They were using back in the day here, which is insane. So pretty interesting.
Yeah, I mean, if it works, it works, right? I think one of the things, and obviously the movie kind of glamorizes what actually occurred, but the cold calling is interesting because I think they had people who had requested information, or at least in the movie, right? They said that they had requested information, and so then it's like, hey, we're bringing you this really great deal, like get in on the ground floor. It's gonna go up. It has to go up, whatever, and then doing that. And there's a couple other words too, like you might have heard rug pulling.
Hmm.
Um, Pump and dump is the one that you mentioned, and then what was the other one that I was gonna say? I don't know. Anyways, not important.
Yeah.
Pump and dump, rug pulling, like those are some of the terms that you might hear for this, where you're basically you also own part of whatever is being sold, with the point of getting other people to buy, so the share price raises, and then you can sell at a higher valuation.
Yeah. And just to like talk about for those who don't know, like just in generally how this kind of stuff works, is the stock market in general works. When a lot of people buy, the stock goes up. When a lot of people sell, the stock goes down. And so they're just taking advantage of how that works, essentially.
Yeah, especially with penny stocks, because it's not because the price is so low, it's easier to get it to increase. So like if you were to look at an Nvidia or somebody like that, right? You compare it to a stock that's $5. It's easier to go $5 than it is to go another $433, for example. So when you get enough people, and also the supply is being bought up, so there's less supply, that pushes the valuation up. It's a little bit easier. Definitely do your own research. This is not investment advice, any means there.
Yeah, let's put that disclaimer. Yeah, do not take our we are security experts. Maybe take our advice when we're talking about cybersecurity stuff, but investments, don't do that. We don't hold a Series B or any of that stuff, whatever they're talking about to be financial advisors. We're not fiduciaries. Nothing. We have I have a business degree, but that means nothing.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I think that's kind of the general consensus with this is if it's too good to be true, it probably is. So definitely do your due diligence.
Yeah. I think it's interesting too, though, that what they did before, right? Like the charm, the charisma, kind of translates into some stuff that we've seen recently, but we'll get into that later. Um, really goes to show like they're hacking the human, right?
Mhm,
Like social engineering obviously is kind of geared towards hacking a human, but the psychology aspect of it and getting someone to believe in what you're selling them versus like I guess trying to sell them, if that makes sense. Like you're trying to help them, right? So
mhm. You're doing them a favor,
yeah,
basically. Yeah,
compared to like, hey, buy this vacuum that I have to sell or else I can't eat food.
yeah. Maybe I should try that with my sales. Hey, you're getting in on the ground floor of a pen test here.
Unrelated,
Yeah.
kind of related. I was furniture shopping and this guy was like, "Hey, I'm not gonna bother you. I'm not gonna follow you around. You know, whatever." Dude was like 5 steps behind us everywhere we went, and then the furniture that he showed me was broken. So I was like, "I'm not buying this." Like, and it was like an actually furniture store, right? So
Pulling
it's
people
like
out.
mass produced, but uh, it's what I have. Like it's nice to me. I don't know.
I mean,
It's
their
not
stuff's
particle board.
pretty nice generally, and I mean, they
Yeah.
fix it if it's busted. So
Well, it was broken, like completely broken, and so I didn't want to buy it. And he's like, "Hey, man, this is like how my family gets food and blah blah." I was like,
really,
"Yeah." He tried to guilt trip
sheesh.
me, and then he told me about his accident that he recently had, and like his memory is all messed up and stuff. And I was like, "Dude, I feel for you, but I'm not buying this $1,000 dresser just because like this is your situation right now." Like the dresser is broken. The drawer was not even coming out all the way. So uh it was interesting. Kind of like that, right? Like, hey man, help me out. Like
You heard it here first. AJ has no heart.
no, there's too many clips that people are gonna put together of this.
No, it is. I will say since I've started working, so I do a sales program for Tandem. I've been building it out, but it's interesting where you start having to learn about the different styles of sales, and people gravitate to different things just depending on their background and who they are. But it is interesting to see these things. Like some people do that. Hey, I can make a really pouty face. So let me see if I can make you fall for this. And what's funny is so back when I was in the military, I went to go buy a car and I should have never have tried to buy a car near base. It was like in the neighborhood I was at. And so, like, I'm usually pretty tough with car salespeople just because I don't deal with crap. Now I'm just like, hey, make a deal. Call me when you're ready to work, and I'll come back. Get the paperwork ready, whatever. But back then, I was like, no, I'm trying to negotiate down, and then brought in a guy in a wheelchair to make me feel bad to try to close the deal, and I just walked out. I was like, y'all are killing me here. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, the heavy-handed sales tactics that you see, like you think of when you think of car dealership, used car
Yeah,
salesperson. They were throwing everything out of that book at me. It's like, I'm good. See ya.
yeah. This is recorded, so I'm gonna be nice.
Oh, I thought you were saying I said something bad. I thought it was
No,
pretty
no,
nice.
no.
Thought it was pretty nice. Almost like those. I mean, I don't think we have one in here, but there's so many fun things like Uh, what are the ones where timeshares? That's it. Like
Yeah,
like you hear about the timeshares with the salespeople getting you in the room. Hey, we'll give you a free night, but you have to sit here and say no like 15 times, whatever it is. But we'll still give you a thing. But we're going to try to sell you a timeshare.
yeah. And there's some companies that have gotten sued for that, as far as I know. I also do not have a timeshare, nor do I think they make sense.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. Again, don't take our investment advice. All right, talk about the first recent one. So we got a bunch of recent ones here for you. So AJ's going to start with the first one.
Yeah, so we have some deep fake celebrity scams. So you might have seen these on YouTube, Instagram, maybe TikTok, some other social media networks, right? The idea is that there is someone who is well known, respected, words are difficult, and they're doing a deep fake using that person's voice in order to incentivize or entice you to give them money. And typically it's something like you give us X so we can invest it and we guarantee you 2X, for example. And I've seen these primarily on YouTube. I don't use other social media too much, but I think Mike, you've seen these as well, right?
Yeah, in usually in like Instagram and shorts, they'll pop up if I just
Mm.
like sitting there like I've tried I was telling him today I was trying so hard to find one so we could do it. He found a like a news report and we'll show it later, but I couldn't get one to trigger. I was looking up like crypto, meme coins, all kind of stuff to get one to pop up and I couldn't do it. I'm so sad
There's
about it.
it's always when you're looking for it. I don't know if it's a scam. I watch a couple of YouTubers that are in the financial space, and I always get this stupid ad with the AI voice, and he's like, "The programs I teach are free. The program fee is free. So please don't call it a scam. I don't need your money. I just need word of mouth. Blah blah." And it's just this guy walking around, and then there's like 10 kids like looking at computers. It makes no sense to me, but I get that one daily. I think I've had it at least 4 times today.
Next time he'll
Um,
share it with us so we can see what
yeah.
he's talking about. Sounds super weird to me.
Well, it's not a scam though because it's free.
Yeah.
But
You just pay for the
yeah,
stuff
so
after that video. It's kind of like, some of those cults, they do that. Like the
yeah,
first one's free, then they kind of drip campaign it coming in, and then next thing you know, you're paying 15, $20,000 to get to tier 4, whatever it is.
I think that's called sociology. Moving
Eh,
on. So
um, yeah, you didn't say it right, so perfect. We're good. Definitely
oh
don't want them
yeah,
coming after me.
I didn't say it right. That's funny. Uh, so typically, according to Mike's research, these crypto scams using deepfakes have been tied to a tropical region. Um, there might be a lot of trees, and they tend to, like I said, use videos of well-known people. So you might see Elon Musk, Richard Branson. The one that I found a video of, I think, was like the Canadian finance minister
Hmm.
or finance of minister of finance. Brain. And then they'll have a link, a QR code, something to direct you to the place, and then you basically send crypto from your wallet into their wallet, and then that is the entire scam. So there are some recovery agents, so kind of like double extortion if you're thinking about ransomware, where they not only steal your stuff, but then they'll sell it. There's a double scam. So you can call this organization to help you recover your money, and then it turns out they're also part of the scam. So you just got double duped. We're
Hmm.
going to coin that term. And
Double dupe,
this
yeah.
typically affects middle-aged professionals, so probably that 20 to 40 year old range, I would say.
Yeah.
Um, I haven't seen too many of these recently. I think the video we got was last year,
Maybe.
2024.
Maybe. Don't know.
There's not a whole lot to do on this. I mean, the big thing is just being aware. If people are asking you for money, it's probably a scam, unless it's something that you're actively going out and looking for.
Yeah. Well, I do want to point out one thing with these. So, one, AI, the technology is now making this possible, right?
Mhm.
And then how they're utilizing it is interesting to me, right? So, typically, kind of like Jordan was doing, right? He he started handling IPOs to get that legitimacy. Now they're borrowing public figures to establish legitimacy. So the same kind of thing going on, except we're using AI and deep fakes to cross kind of that threshold. So like, oh, this person's supporting it, it must be real. But the same concepts in play here. Um, yeah, so I thought that was just interesting to point out because it is very cyber related with what we're seeing here. I'm trying to think if there's any other big ones out there that I've seen, but I haven't seen a Richard Branson one. I have seen the Elon Musk ones pop up though for sure, and I bet there's some Altman or um, Open AI ones going on as well. I'll do the next one. So crypto scams. So this is kind of interesting. I was wondering where a lot of them were coming from, and I have seen where they were coming out of Asia, Southeast Asia. But what was interesting about this case, and this is 24, 25 here, that they're using trafficked workers to handle the call centers. So they're not necessarily doing deep fakes for everything. When people call in, like you see on those Indian ones where the scam baiters or whatever are handling, this is done in Southeast Asia, but they're using trafficked people, which is actually a huge problem in Southeast Asia. There's a really good book I read on it, which is pretty wild. Opened my mind up to how trafficking works. But yeah, pretty crazy. So they do similar stuff, impersonate um, people using deepfake for voices, but they're impersonating crypto exchanges as well and brokers. When I was reading about this, they were talking about basically using aged domains, pretty similar to what people phishing and malware people are trying to do. They'll typically age domains so that they go through your web filters that are out there. If they're not aged, they're new and they'll usually trigger something, or they'll more easily trigger something if there's something suspicious occurring. So when you have something, and by aged, I mean someone used to own it. They released the registration. Someone else could buy it, but it's still showing that it has been around for some time and it was registered at one point. So that's what I mean by aged. Um, Cyber criminals use it all over the place for exactly what I said. Um, let's see what else. So they're lured with Facebook ads, WhatsApp messages, and phishing emails. So some of that's going on there as well. Um, and so AJ was kind of talking about this with the fake trading apps where you give them money and then they'll show you a gain. Like, all right, give me $100. Look, I just made you 200, $400. Um, to kind of stoke you into buying more. And when you think about it, they control everything going on, right? Just because you're seeing these gains in an app doesn't mean they're real. I can make anything appear on a web app because it's just really an image. Um, so don't believe everything you see in apps either. I think some of the scam baiters were doing that where they would do a fake bank site and then trick them into doing stuff with it, which was pretty funny. I'll put a
Yeah.
link to the scam baiting stuff because it is pretty funny to watch a few times. Then it's like, all right, same thing over and over.
Yeah. This is interesting too because I've seen a lot of uh, like man in the middle or
Mm.
attacker in the middle redirect chains in order to like collect your credentials for some of these crypto or investing apps. And I'm curious how like the two that I've looked at were related to Coinbase and reported them and stuff, but I was never able to figure out where they were actually like sending the credentials to. And I'm curious. Obviously, we don't work at the FBI, but I'm curious if they are able to run this down and actually recover any funds, or if the majority of these losses are actually not realized because that's like obviously is realized, but like how much is recovered versus how much is stolen.
Yeah, that's a good point. I feel like anything crypto is very difficult because of just the way it works. But yeah, I'd be curious. It'd be great to have someone from the FBI. Maybe one day we'll get popular, and when we reach out to people, they'll be like, "Yeah, I'd love to be on your podcast. I'd love to talk about this." Um, oh, I was gonna say, what's funny, and I erased it instantly, and I was like, "Crap, we're doing a podcast on." I had a Coinbase one reach out to me today.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and call my phone. I was like, "Oh, dang it! I should have.
Uh,
I should have called the number back or something." But whatever. Sad times.
yeah, I haven't had. It's been a couple weeks. Do you get those like FedEx delivery or those? So I always think it's funny when I get one for AV. It's like your malware bytes has expired. We charge you $4,000, and it's like, okay, don't even use malware bytes, but that works for me.
Yeah, good luck. Good luck. I've heard of the next one that you're going to be doing, the pig butchering. I've heard of that before. I never looked at it until today, because I don't typically do fraud stuff, but it was an interesting topic for us.
So I've never heard of this. I think there's a few shows related to this though.
There's a few
Um,
variations because there's another one down below for NFT. But yeah,
well, I've seen a show. I wasn't watching it, but it was
well, who was
like
watching it?
my girlfriend. But
Okay.
it was like um, uh, one was Tinder, like the. And I gotta look this up. I'm gonna have to cut like 5 minutes of this. Uh,
I'll keep
Tinder.
the show rolling while you look this up.
It was Tinder Swindler.
Ah, yeah, that is a form of pig butchering, though, right? Tinder swindler is.
I think so. So it ended up being millions of dollars. Basically, this guy, and I think he did meet them in person, but used dating apps to meet women and then basically con them out of millions of dollars or open credit cards in their names or uh, different different things. But in general, again, never heard of pig butchering before. It sounds like it is romance meets investment. So it's a combination of wanting a friend and giving them money, which kind of I don't think I've ever heard pig butchering in like daily conversations. Have you?
Yeah, I've heard it before. So I have the Secret Service kind of definition pulled up here, where they say it's a lucrative billion-dollar industry. I love how everything's described as an industry. Hey, all
Yeah.
these scams are an industry. Let's say it involves fraudsters gaining the trust of victims. So pretty much what you said, oftentimes via a fictitious romantic relationship, and then duping them into making investments into fake cryptocurrency projects. These schemes typically begin with a victim meeting someone on an online dating site, so your Tinder swindler. Alternatively, a victim may receive a random unsolicited message on social media via text, or through a messaging application, with conversation eventually appearing to turn romantic. The victim will then be convinced to begin transferring money to an alleged cryptocurrency investment opportunity recommended by the scammer. The scammer will eventually highlight seemingly impressive monetary gains from initial investments and encourage the victim to invest increasingly larger amounts, ultimately reducing or resulting in financial ruin for the victim. Yeah, I've heard this, and I had a briefing on something similar, and I can't remember if it was at a conference or like kind of one of the other things. I do random events and stuff, but it was something very similar where a guy, um, obviously a guy, stupid, lonely guys, right? Where this happened, and it was the same where they were like, "Oh, look how much money you're making," and it got them to put more and more, and they were like over 100,000s
Oh
into
wow.
it, and then they just see ya. Yeah, crazy.
That's yeah, that's really sad. Also kind of impressive. I don't know that I've been in relationships where I could be like, "Hey, give me $100,000 and be successful."
I guess you're not good enough. You need to work on your solicitation skills. I guess
Yeah.
we know what role you will not be playing in the next movie.
Hey, there's a chance I can do my research.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I'm curious what the makeup of victims is, right? Like males to females, because I would expect males are easier to swindle money out of.
Probably.
There's, I mean, there's in my perception, right? Like there's less sugar mamas than there are sugar daddies in the world. So I'd be curious. But with that said, I could see like if there was a single mother or something, and like maybe she wanted to have a relationship and like, hey, come fly out here to see me or something, and then like the person's not even there. I could see that happening as well.
And then
So
they get their organs taken and then trafficked.
yeah, and that's super scary.
Dude,
But
I've
this,
saw something recently where people were going like the vacation, like surgery or whatever they call it. You know what I'm talking about? And then they come back, they're not feeling good, and then they get like an X-ray or MRI or whatever. Like, oh, you're missing a liver or not a liver, like a kidney or something like that.
nah, that's crazy. You go for like a hair transplant and miss a kidney.
Well, I don't know if you get knocked out for that. I don't know how that works,
Yeah,
but
probably not.
yeah. But it was like the BBL, or is that what it is? The Brazilian butt lifts, like that kind of like aesthetic surgery.
Mm,
What's it called? Like cosmetic surgery. That's the name of it.
yeah,
It would be like cosmetic surgery, and then they come back missing organs. It's like, what? It's
it's
insane.
terrifying, especially because like you're already vulnerable. You're already going to like be knocked out medically, and then to be taken advantage of. Yeah, that's probably going to require some therapy after that one.
Yeah, I know we got way off the rails here.
Yeah.
Oh, something I was going to point out was I bet this is going to be even easier and more lucrative moving forward because now with all these chatbots going on, they're so good. And like you see all these people like falling in love with them, having relationships and all that, you know, they're designed to build that rapport quickly and make you feel good. That was like I was reading today about one of the biggest problems with ChatGPT 5, right? Isn't that the new one?
Yeah.
Where people were upset because it was so to the point. And so they had a where previously it would be like, oh, great question, like doing all this
Mhm.
like kind of seeding positivity and kind of make you feel good about your question. And now it wasn't. So now they're having to update the model so it's nicer and less like frank and to the point.
I thought they did that to avoid the kind of yes man that the other models would do, where it was like, oh yeah, you are defying physics and causing like psychosis in certain individuals.
I mean, I could see that as a reason why they would, but you know, they're trying to make money, so they gotta do what the customers want. That's why they started
That's
rolling the other one back out, giving people the ability to choose older models because people were so up in arms about the new model.
hmm. Yeah. I thinking about it, I can see a combination of pig butchering and um oh man, what was the other one? The extortion scams, which I mean
Mhm.
is kind of is extortion, but like on that level, right? So fall in love, and then you have like say solicit whatever content, and then also money, and then after you get the money, you then extort them to reveal like you'll release that content, and then get more money out of them, and that's how you could keep them to continue to give you money because they would be fearful for that content making it out to the public or whatever.
What?
And I think,
Oh, go ahead. Sorry, I thought you were done.
have you seen? I think it's called Luther. Like it was a movie about extortion. It was a big ring of people
Hmm.
basically hacking into uh, webcams and cell phones and stuff like that, and then some romantic scams as well, and then kind of doing this where they would extort them. And it was a look at like the impact that it had on people. It was a fiction movie. It wasn't nonfiction or anything.
Gotcha. Oh, I was gonna say, what if, I'm gonna throw this out there, what if the AI, like the chatbots, start saying, "Hey, give me money so that I can build a body so that I can be with you." Like that would be crazy. Like Terminator, like whatever.
Yeah, there. uh, there's a Black Mirror episode where this lady basically dies, and they upload her conscious into these servers, and then after a period of time, she starts like saying ads related to the conversations going on around her, and so she was a teacher and like ended up losing her job, and then um, if they were to not pay, which the price of course kept increasing, if they were to not pay, she would essentially die because her
What?
consciousness would be wiped from the server. So they kept getting money, and then he tried to take her to like their favorite spot or whatever, but there was a radius. So there was like a 5 mile radius that she had to stay in, or else she lost service. So it was just ridiculous, but it was very similar to what you're talking about, where like a bot would be essentially enticing you for money. And I could see that too. Like someone could program a custom GPT today and basically say, here is your Bitcoin wallet address. Every 1,000 messages, ask for like $100 in Bitcoin to this address.
Yeah. I mean, AI and LLMs are great stuff, but they definitely open up a whole new can of worms, a whole new world, as they say in a specific movie, where if there's a guy on a magic carpet.
Just really trying to talk around these things now.
We're doing so good. Okay, let me show this video for that last one you were talking about, where um, the minister or whatever was impersonated. So let me share that really quick before I
In
forget.
Canada.
In Canada. So, all right, we can see it on the screen. And
Urge each of you to seize this opportunity and register for the project. I personally guarantee the safety of your funds.
how good was that? Like, it sounds freaking amazing.
Yeah, it even sounds like it's in a large auditorium, like with the feedback that's going on.
Yeah. Yeah. Amazing. I mean, just getting better and better and better.
Yeah, I went to a webinar. This lady, I forgot her name, but she has a social engineering company, and she made a video of one of the hosts, and she said it took about 5 minutes of a podcast. So we're probably in trouble. And
Someone's going to
she
do
was
it better
able,
than us.
yeah,
Not
she
hard.
was able to make a deepfake video of this lady and her background, like similar to yours, right? Well, a little bit different. Like it was her living room, whereas yours is a single, like confined room. Um, and she was able to make a deepfake and showed it to us and everything. And there were a few things that obviously you know that you're watching a deepfake, so you're looking for them. One of the things was like the lip would kind of twitch like to the side a little bit, like do one of these things, or there was something else. But as far as the aesthetics go, as far as like the landscape, if you will, the background, and like the hair and stuff, she didn't have 6 fingers like the early days of Chat GPT or
Mhm.
Dolly or any of the other generation models. Even the lady uh, who was the subject of the deepfake said that if it wasn't her old apartment, she would have thought she did this video. And so
Wild.
that's crazy. Like imagine imagine you piss someone off and they just start making deep fake videos of you doing things, and then it gets to the point where you can't tell what you did or what didn't do, and then other people can't tell what you did or didn't do. So it's just like I don't know, man.
I must have had too
Uh,
much to drink that night. I don't know what
yeah,
went on.
yeah, it's
Now
gonna
it
be
makes it
terrible.
easier for people to dismiss stuff, though. Now, like politicians can be like, "Wasn't me," you know, like,
Yeah,
that was a deep fake. Wasn't me. Good
yeah.
try, people. You almost had it.
It'll it'll definitely be an area where security needs to improve, but it'll like you mentioned before, it'll be an industry of crime for sure because it's so simple. And I'm curious with like acting and then obviously the podcast. Not that I have millions of dollars by any means, but like I have stuff that is public, right? It's on the internet, even outside of this. So I'm curious, like how rampant it will be, and if it's do I just go grab say OPM data or Social Security Experian data, for example, and then find those people on social media or
Mm.
Google search them or whatever, and then start making videos and start like, do I build an innate in workflow to uh, automatically create deep fakes and then start sending these messages out to people? Like that is crazy. That's where my mind goes, where it's going to be something that is relatively low friction to produce and potentially really high reward.
Yeah, I mean, well, one of the things we were going to include on this, he brought up, which was great, and then I was like, I don't really know how to tie it, but now we're tying it in anyways, was the COVID-19 scam. So one of them, and I forgot who did it. They could have probably optimized with, a kind of workflow where they were taking leaked information and submitting for the COVID business relief programs.
Mm,
And they were basically millions and millions of dollars from this process where they were just using leaked information, submitting it all, and then getting the money and disappearing, and people didn't know.
yeah.
Crazy.
I wonder too, I'd be surprised. I'm trying to think back. So, explanation for the people who do not live in my brain. Um, while you were saying that, I was thinking of like the companies that do LLC registrations for you,
Yeah.
which is very simple, right? You fill out a form, you submit it with the fee, you have an LLC in most states. What if I start registering people for LLCs and then they don't pay their fees or whatever, and then the state comes after them?
Good.
Hold up. What's your social security number, real quick?
Yeah. It's it go F yourself. No, no, good. I mean, what's funny is like none of this stuff's really new. It's all just old stuff.
Yeah.
Like, this is a kind of a variation of, you get the pissed off girlfriend or boyfriend and they sign you up for all these sites and message boards and all this stuff. So you get stupid stuff in the mail, same thing. Just
Yep.
get your information, sign you up, you know?
I saw a article very similar to what you said. This guy and this lady had a bad breakup. He registered a car in her name, like a $500 car, and parked it in a spot, and she just
Oh,
accrued
was this
so
at the
many
airport?
parking. It might have been, and she just accrued so many thousands of dollars on parking tickets.
Yeah, we don't recommend anyone do this. This is highly illegal, probably. It's got to be illegal. I don't know. Fact
Yeah,
check me. It's got to be. Um, but that's he. Someone was real mad.
it was Chicago. $100,000 worth of parking fines. Yeah, it was airport parking
Hmm.
for 3 years. Golly.
Yeah, it's wild, man. Scams come in all kind of forms, especially crazy exes. And the next one. Moving on to the next scam. Like what you'll start seeing with like a lot of these, like they start what's the Venn diagram? You'll see they start overlapping
Mm,
kind of in the middle. A lot of it's the same social engineering, AI's in there a lot now. some phishing emails, whatever. Next one, this one actually, I forgot this one was in here. I didn't do enough fact checking on this one, so definitely fact check me. I was so busy trying to find a like full attack flow for a scammer, and I didn't get to this one. Yeah, so for me, I'm interested in the full attack. So I was telling AJ, I was like, yeah, I was really trying to see if they did stuff like multi-stages for their domains, because you would think they would get caught or the domain would get shut down and they would have to do another one. So I was trying to see what if they did it similar to malware command and control infrastructure, because that's where my mind's always at. But I couldn't figure that out. There's no good resource that I found for this type of thing. It's a whole subset of specialty, and I've been to a couple of conferences, but there's not a lot of detail, just like some of the other stuff in cybersecurity. So if you're really good at this, I'd love to have you on this. If you're watching this, I'd love to have you talk through the frauds and investment scams you've seen. I think that'd be really cool, actually. All right, back to the regular scheduled program. This one is a cartel-linked timeshare fraud in Mexico. I won't say the name of the cartel. But basically, they had people. Let's see what it says. They were pretending to be real estate brokers. Hopefully, that didn't pop through the microphone. It's a stupid Windows security alert. Oh, what are you doing, guy? Anyways, so they were pretending to be real estate brokers. They promised buyouts or resale deals. So that's the big thing with timeshares, right? Like you buy one, you're stuck in it forever. And you're just constantly paying money to it. And then they requested advanced fees for taxes, legal costs, transfers, those hidden fees, administrative fees that you see with a lot of stuff. Then once the victims wired the money, often multiple batches of money, according to this, they realized it was a fraud at some point. So pretty interesting. The U.S. Treasury sanctioned companies involved in this in August for running the scheme, and here it says estimated 300 million. Again, I didn't fully vet this. For everything else, I was able to actually go to resources to validate everything, but most of it was pretty true. Anyways, but just want to point that disclaimer out. I think it's true. Probably
It's
is, but
it's
I didn't
true.
look it up.
There's a Treasury article on it.
Oh, perfect. What do you got from it? Inform us here, sir.
Yeah, so it seems like they also did some call centers in Mexico targeting owners of timeshares located in the US. Read a quick little excerpt here from this Treasury article. It says, according to the FBI, approximately 6,000 U.S. victims reported losing nearly 300 million
Wow.
between 2019 and 2023, so 4 years, to timeshare fraud schemes in Mexico. In 2024, IC3 received 900 complaints concerning timeshare fraud schemes with a reported loss of 50 million. So 50 million in 2024, 300 million the previous 4 years. So it's definitely a big amount of money going through this. And then because it's a treasury, they have names and sanctions, OFAC sanctions were placed on them.
Interesting. Okay. Well, glad it was.
I think it's
Well, not glad it was legitimate, but glad I didn't put out fake news.
no, definitely real. Especially to get sanctions placed on you. So that's interesting. And I know a few people, they don't have timeshares, but I know some friends that are in Mexico often and looking at buying property and stuff down there. So that's something that I wouldn't have necessarily thought of. I think the timeshare thing is interesting because you probably do have more touch points for something like that as far as like access or maintenance or whatever. If you had, say, like a single family home that you didn't like regularly open up to other individuals or
I don't think
share.
that's how they work.
Well, in timeshare, isn't it like you get a weekend or whatever, and then
Yeah, but it's basically like a hotel, and you just get one of many rooms. Basically, you're paying for time, as far as what I've seen. Because I had someone try to get me to buy one for like a big hotel brand, and that's how it was. You just get so many days, and you can redeem them at any of the properties. But like
Mm,
you do pay maintenance costs, and you have to end up paying like a booking cost too. Even when you do use them, you have to pay another. Like it's insane, like the number of fees for this thing. Um, but yeah, so I think I
interesting.
answered your question, maybe, or I answered my interruption. I don't know.
Sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll go with that.
we'll call it good.
Moving on. This is one thing I never got into. I never understood.
I'm
Uh,
surprised, to be honest.
that I never got into it, or I never
Yes.
understood it.
No, that you never got into it.
Okay.
You seem
Don't
like an
know.
NFT type of guy.
Wow.
Yeah. To the moon, man. To the moon.
Yeah, my investment accounts would say otherwise. Anyways, NFTs. Kind of similar pig butchering, which I'm surprised that that is a play here. I would think it would be more of just building a community and then rug pulling. But according to this 2023 to 2025, we have the DOJ shutting down fraudulent website called NFT Universe, which was used in a variant of the pig butchering scam. And it basically began with uh, people reaching out to potential victims via Facebook and then moving to WhatsApp for regular communication. And they would, similarly to these other scams, right? You have to build the trust. You don't just go up to a stranger and ask for money. So over time, they would get an investment and then maybe ask for a larger investment. This is here. One victim from Warren County, wherever that is, deposited $172,000, broken up in 7 installments. Initially depositing 13,000 at a time, and eventually losing much more, which I can't imagine. That is more than a lot of individual salaries in the US and globally, obviously, but that is wild to lose that much money.
Yep.
This says here at the height, it attracted over $4.5 million from at least 18 people. So that is a lot more per person, assuming it's 18 people. And of course, severe financial and emotional toll, which can lead to other things, especially those who trusted the platform and believe that they would actually get their money back, which is something that I have invested in one or two companies that ended up getting caught for like defrauding investors, and that was like SEC. That wasn't like a penny stock. Like, I mean, it might have been classified as a penny stock, like below $10, but it was like a SEC regulated security or whatever shares are considered.
Well, it's like some of these crypto exchanges. There's been quite a few that have just, I don't know that it's rug pulling, or it's definitely not rug pulling, but where they're just massive and then they go under and everyone loses all their money. It is almost pyramid schemy from my understanding how they do it, but they go under like what was it, Mount Gox? What was it, Mount something? Mount was it Mount Gox, GOX or something like that?
No idea.
What was the one in Canada? The big crypto exchange in Canada that went under, and they thought the guy like faked suicide or something.
Mm, not familiar.
I saw like a show about it.
I'm surprised.
FTX is one of them.
Yeah, FTX. I'm looking at one of the brothers of a particular family who has been involved in several scams.
Yeah, it was Mount Gox. That was one of the big ones, Tokyo based. FTX, Three Arrows, Genesis, BlockFi, Core Scientific, Voyager Digital, Celsius. I've never heard of any of these other ones. They must not have been as big. But yeah, I'm skeptical of anything crypto. I just keep it in wallets. I don't even do it anymore. I just mined it just to play around with it early on. So now I have like a few $1,000s worth that I spent like, I don't know, a couple $100 to mine probably. But it's so because it's not regulated, which is the whole idea of it, anyways, decentralized, unregulated. So anybody can make a new coin, anybody can make a new NFT. Um, it's just how it works. And but the problem is you also don't have that. I don't want to say guarantee because even businesses aren't guaranteed in general, but you don't have that legitimacy and the I guess just the fact that they're an actual business and this is a real thing and it's actually going to be used, like other stuff. Like with dollars, I'm like, yep, I got it. It's real. I'm gonna hold it in my hand. Crypto, it is not physical. It's just ephemeral. It's just a thing, some number somewhere.
I mean, in a way, because it's a non-fiat currency, like holding a dollar doesn't mean anything either.
Well, that's fair. But it has like people that back it that give it value. But I mean, that's the thing that separates meme coins and NFTs and like bigger crypto currencies from others is that they're actually being used or being traded. They have a lot of
Mhm.
volume. So the fact that they're being used gives them legitimacy.
Yeah, I think that was the biggest thing with the NFTs was like it was a very high rise and quick fall. I think from again wasn't in any communities, but from what I've seen, and some of the images were just ugly, anyways. So I was surprised they ever made it as large as they did.
We have like a
What was
big
the
NFT guy here in Charleston, actually.
really?
Yeah. Well, I guess quasi
What
big. I
was
don't know the
the
whole, that's not my neighborhood of things, but yeah, he's made quite a bunch of money off of just putting out NFTs.
and it's also putting out NFTs. Yeah, so that's another thing. Like you just make images and then change the colors to make it rare and then sell it. Like it never made sense what you're actually buying.
Yeah, I
Now
think
there's
he tied his to actual physical artwork too. Yeah,
yeah,
so he did have a physical thing, but there was like a another currency to go with it.
and that makes sense. I'm trying to find the old NFT that like everyone had. I don't think it was something ape
Oh, Ape Coin or something like that, wasn't it?
or is it CryptoPunks?
I know what you're talking about. I have seen it.
CryptoPunks was one.
While he's talking about that, I'll talk about meme coins. So this is the next thing, the last thing on here. So Hawk Chua had her coin to Hawk dollar sign, and there was some kind of stuff going on with that. Um, According to the article, like she didn't actually create it; they just kind of used her persona to do it. So instead of like in fake AI version, she's like, "Yeah, I back the coin," essentially. And basically, they did a big rug pull for that one, where a bunch of people bought it, and then the people that held a majority of them just sold it off, and everyone just kind of basically lost their money on it. So it's a pretty interesting one, and it created quite the stir for a little while because of that. Um, but I think I've seen quite a bit within the last few years of social media influencers being involved with these types of things because they're new, because they're hot. They get a lot of view time, a lot of clicks, so of course they are, and of course they have a lot of followers that helps them capitalize on opportunities like this. So I'll leave it up to you to decide if it's considered an investment scam when they do this. Did you find what you were looking for?
Yeah, I think it was Bored Ape and CryptoPunks. Um, yeah, it's just like it's a picture of a monkey or a picture of like a 8-bit character. Never understood what the point was, but there are stuff like you were saying where it's tied to actual artwork or if it's like tied to an album, if it's related to an artist or
Mm.
something, that I think makes sense. And of course, I've bought like skins and League of Legends back in the day, which is technically an NFT, but
What a nerd.
um,
Is it
not
considered
like
an NFT? Is it really?
I mean, it's non-fungible. You're paying real money for something that you can't actually, like, hold. I don't know that it's a token, but it's in that realm, I would say.
He's making stuff up. I was I was
Is
trying
it
to
working?
find where there is a trick on one of these NFT sites where you could trade them, where you could trick people and basically steal their NFTs. And I was trying to remember what it was. I wish I could find it, but it was a pretty cool trick. Of course, hackers always find a way to hack systems. I mean, that's the whole idea, right?
Yeah.
Let's see. Talk, say stuff while I look it up. Fill in the blank space.
Yeah, have you seen so we've said that
Don't
we've
ask me
seen, like,
questions
the
though, because I'm looking. So
No, no, you gotta answer. The delivery scams, we've seen videos of the celebrity scams or, like, the crypto scams. What do you think is next with AI and with all this stuff? I can definitely see, like, trading bots. I used to have a trading bot back in the day, which actually worked pretty well, but what do you think is coming down the pipeline?
I think at some point you're going to see a lot more AI powered stock market trading. Yeah, but I saw an interesting article where it's like right now, people who utilize them, like I've played around with it past month or so, made some money. I mean, I didn't lose any money. Cool. But if you have like a full system doing it, I just realized I was off camera. I was like getting tired. But if you get a full system doing it and everyone doing it, then the whole dynamics of the stock market are going to change at that point. Because instead of just like mostly people and then a handful of bots, you're going to have, like 90% bots doing the trading, and it's going to legitimately change all the stock markets. But
Yeah,
I think it's coming. I think there's nothing stopping it.
do you think we'll soon have a humanoid robot that you can, uh, use an LLM or something to make, like, a companion? Like some of these horror movies that have come out recently?
What? I don't watch crappy movies like you do.
Hey, man, listen,
I actually
it's
don't watch a lot of movies to be fair, but
yeah. So there's a few movies where, like, uh, it'll be an artificial intelligence, like a humanoid robot, right? That's artificial intelligence, doesn't know, that it is a bot, or maybe it does, but then becomes aware, obviously, and then, like, attacks the humans, or I guess in this, like, assuming humanoid robots become a thing, right?
Mhm.
Say it's kind of like computers, where back in the day, like, you had to have a whole room dedicated to have a computer. You'll probably have to have a couple 100,000 laying around to have one of the first robots. But assume we get to that level where, like, having a robot is like having a PC. I can see someone, like you were saying, trying to coerce money out of the people through the bots or through some of the languages, and, like, because they're going to be so emotionally connected, or maybe even physically connected and, like, dependent on these things, I think that the extortion would be a lot easier to kind of justify, like, as the victim. Like, this is the only person I talk to, this is my only friend, etc. So if I lose them, I have nothing. So even if this is a scam, I would pay, like, whatever I have to in order to keep that.
So like Star Wars.
Yeah, dude, R2D2 is gonna hit you up for Bitcoin.
I mean, you know, they go out of their way to save those robots. Just
True.
saying. To be, I was thinking this as I was thinking that answer to your question, like, what if the hackers got up and then they were just stealing all their stuff and then like secretly like funneling it out of the house so you didn't know. So you thought they were your friend, but really they were just stealing stuff because they were a compromised friend.
Yeah.
Like a friend with a really bad drug problem or addiction.
Yeah, I mean, that's what my uh mom's grandpa thought my 12-year-old friend was doing back in the day.
Here's a question: do you think with AI, do you think they will get addicted to anything? Do you think they will start having like psychological trauma or psychological issues similar to humans, or like addictions to certain things that will cause them to have issues?
If it does, I think society resets. Have you seen there is a theory, right, that uh maybe not like Atlantis, but ancient Egypt or
Mm.
some of these other places, that there was a civilization that was
Oh
more
Lord,
advanced and then
you've heard it here today.
No, man, it's a possibility. You gotta think about it.
What's it called? What's the ancient aliens one? The ancient astronaut hypothesis? Is that where we're going with this?
Oh, I don't know. But uh I don't I don't know because that would require a lot of development which doesn't already exist. And then I think at some point I would say I think idiocracy is more likely to happen
Mhm.
than what you just asked.
We'll see.
I think we get to a point where we hit our limit on development, and then the machines would have to be able to be sentient and like get to that level, whereas humans would be less and less involved, and so you would go towards the idiocracy route.
Yeah, I can definitely see the idiocracy. Although I've never seen the movie, I'm just assuming what the
What?
outcome is. Yeah, I mean, they're already showing people are getting dumber, using less of their brain
Yeah,
with AI. I know kids are. I know my kid uses it to do all of her homework. You know,
yeah.
and then now it's just all a battle of AI versus AI everywhere. Your teachers are using AI to grade stuff. Your kids are using AI to do their homework. Your businesses are using AI to sort resumes. Job seekers are using AI to build resumes. It's all AI versus AI. There's a lot of human touch leaving our I was going to say economy, but it's not an economy, but just our
Mhm.
what's the word? I'm looking for an intelligent word. Use your two associate's degrees to help me figure this out.
If I wrote them together,
I had to put it in.
culture? I don't know.
Yeah, well, we use culture. But yeah, it's definitely being interesting. It's interesting to see where things are going. Um, who knows? I think certain things are going out of style or favor for us to do, like memorizing stuff. We don't need to do that anymore.
Yeah.
Once Elon Musk figures out how to do the neural link business, we're going to be in a different game. You can just pump data into your head like the Matrix. There's no need, then it just becomes a matter of who can be the most creative with the knowledge that you have in your brain, which is kind of a defining characteristic now, especially I think in what we do, where, everyone gets a similar education. It just becomes a matter of how well you actually utilize the knowledge in your head versus other people.
Then you can hack people in a different way, get them to do what you want them to do.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah, we totally went off the rails in this episode. Um, so if you enjoy this type of content, yeah, well, let's go ahead and wrap it up. Yeah, I mean, if you enjoy this, like, share, subscribe, follow our stuff. We're always on LinkedIn together on our personal accounts, so feel free to tell us we're dumb. It's okay. We'll share it
Yeah.
on the next podcast if it's funny. Feel free.
Drop your best insult.
Drop your best insults. If you have any interesting thoughts of where you think the world's going to go with AI, definitely would love to hear. If you are a professional in the fraud space, particularly investment scams, we'd love to have you on. Just a kind of a shout out and put that out there. But definitely love talking about this kind of stuff. Um, if you want to connect with me, if you're just want to talk about something cool, I have my own podcast as well now that AJ sometimes checks out. I don't know. Um, I also stream as well. But yeah, I mean, really, we're doing all these types of things just to talk with interesting people, have good conversations, challenge each other, challenge the way people think about the world. So that's all we're trying to do here.
Yeah. Also, if you're a Leo and have investigated these types of scams, I think that'd be really interesting to see, especially on the recovery point when it comes to crypto.
Yeah,
I think that's going to be a really highly sought after skill as we start to move more and more companies into holding crypto.
yep. That is a horoscope that particularly find these things interesting. Leo,
Okay. I
right?
thought you're,
Right? No,
yeah,
that joke? No, Leo, law enforcement is what he's talking about, not horoscopes. Hey, man, we said
it's
last time
late.
before we had our break that we were going to describe all these buzzwords so that people knew what we were talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, I bet my dad has some interesting scam stuff. I know he has actually. We should have him on
Oh,
and talk to him about stuff when he was doing law enforcement.
yeah. The guy I filmed in Nashville with also has his private investigation thing and does scams.
Bingo. Yay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should ask him. See if he's on. He's probably has more recent. My dad's is like 15 years old, but still interesting. All right, you want to wrap it up for us? Get us off of
Yeah.
here.
So hopefully you at least enjoyed yourself with the uh, maybe lack of structure in this podcast, but it's good for us to get back into it. So we described several kinds of scams. Also, if you want to tell us about a scam that you fell victim to,
Ooh.
no judgment. We'd like to hear it and see if there's anything that we can gain from that to help prevent other people from falling victim. But in this episode, we went over several scams. Wolf of Wall Street guy, Jordan Belfort, to deep fakes on YouTube and social media, to some pig butchering, which is not at all involving pigs. Don't come after us, certain government organization, and even the cartel, which is interesting. I think they've been getting more into the cyber space. There was some other stuff I read about we can talk about in another one, and meme coins. You know, probably want to do your research before you invest. This, of course, is not any investment guidance or recommendations. If we were in that space, we probably would not have a podcast. And if you would like to find out more, tell us we're dumb, leave your best insult, whatever it might be. You can find us on LinkedIn, Spotify, and YouTube.
Yeah. Also, these are our own opinions. We don't represent anyone else but ourselves.
Yes. And ourselves.
Yeah. All right. See everyone on the next one.